Hello, this is Sparkmas here to show off version 1.0.5 of my Pockets Spigot Bukkit plugin. It's a plugin for Minecraft which allows you to store items inside of other items. There was two major themes of this release, the first being that there's dynamic language support, so that if you craft a pocket, it will show up in a couple different languages. Right now I'm supporting German and Russian and English, of course, but that's all in the config file, so you can actually add new words for the word pocket in different languages in the config file. The messaging is only supported in Russian, German, and English, like the messaging that gets sent to a player, but the actual name of the pocket item can be whatever languages you want to add to the config file. The second major theme was if you craft an item, if you craft a pocket into an item and that item had lore or existing enchantments, those are going to be copied over into the new item with a pocket. In the past, if you were to craft a pocket into an item, it would lose those things. Okay, so I'm going to start with that second thing first. And I'm also going to demonstrate that your old pockets will still work and your old pocket items will still work. So here's like an old pumpkin from the last release. It still opens up. You can still get inside of it. You can still put stuff in it. Okay, so I just want to let you guys know that everything, your old stuff will still work, and you can actually still craft with those old pockets. So for instance, if we put a pocket there and some string, we could take this old pocket and still craft with it. Okay, so then next I want to show you what I meant by copying over enchantments. So I'm going to take this undamaged chest plate. It has a custom name, it has knockback 2, and it has some lore there. Let's add that to the bottom. Let's put a pocket on top and some string around it, and now you can see the output is going to have all those values as well for the custom name, the enchantments, and the lore. And now of course it has a pocket and you can use it as so. Okay, so next I actually did want to point this out. There was there's a possibility that you might have other plugins that have hidden lore. So I created these kind of dummy items here for testing with that. If you have an item from a different plugin that has invisible lore or invisible text in the name, then those will not be allowed to be placed into pockets. As you can see here, I kind of kick it out right away. I say object not compatible. That probably won't come up, but if it does, I didn't want to ruin your item if you stick it in the bag, because it would in fact ruin that item. Okay, so next, the dynamic language features. First, I'll start by crafting a pocket, and you can see I have English settings on, so the pocket's going to come out and it's going to be named Pocket. Now I have, now let's switch to a different language. Before I do that though, I want to do a couple of different things. I'm going to throw this item on the ground, which has a pocket, and I want to put something in a chest that has a pocket. That's in the chest, it has a pocket. And I'll have something in my bag that has a pocket. Okay, so I have three different scenarios there. One on the ground, one in a chest, one in my bag. So now we're going to switch languages. We'll switch to German. And while that's doing its thing, I'm going to take a look over here and show you how this works with the pocket. You can see in the config file I've added a section called locales for each recipe item. In this case there's just the pocket, and I'm supporting German and Russian by default, but you can add new locales here, and if you do, you'll have to add a section for that locale for the name of the pocket and then any lore that you want under the pocket. You can see I have these little squiggle emojis representing string and underscore representing the item that you might put in there for the recipe, and so on. So that pretty much covers the format of the config file. Looks like the language is switched over, so let's go back there and say finish, back to game. So here I want to point out that right when I open my inventory, it still says pocket. Now if I click it, it's going to automatically update to Tasha. Now if you want, you can make it so if a player opens up their inventory, it'll automatically switch the name, and you have to set this value to true. I left that as false because the only way that you can interrupt a player opening up their own inventory is to cancel their achievement when they join the server, the achievement for opening your inventory for the first time. So then therefore every single time they open their inventory, it's considered like the first time and they get that achievement, and we cancel the achievement, so they never actually get it. And that way we can know on the server side every time they open their inventory. That's pretty much the only way. It's a little hacky, and I didn't want to mess with people's achievements in case you care about that sort of thing. They won't get spammed with a notice every time they do open their inventory though. So, but if you want it to automatically update every time they pick up an item with a pocket, then go ahead and set that to true. Next, the same applies with picking up an item. I couldn't intercept this event. There might be a way. I'm going to look more into it, but right now it still is going to say pocket until you click it. Now the chest, on the other hand, you can interrupt this event pretty easily, so all the things in the chest are going to have the word Tasha immediately. Now the existing pockets, however, are still going to be called pocket. I might change that in the future, but I figure people crafting pockets are probably using them right away. It's not a big deal to have to change the name to the right language. If somebody wants crafting a pocket, at least by default, is pretty cheap. They can craft it and they can get it in their own language. You can see now this one's going to be, oops, not string. This one's going to be in German. Tasha, and then the recipe. And you can use like an English pocket even if you're in German and so on. I guess I'll just demonstrate that really quick. I'll grab another saddle. And even though we're in the German settings, we can use this English pocket. Okay, so that pretty much covers all the features for this release. If you guys can think of anything else that you think would be cool, please let me know. Of course, if you find any bugs, please let me know. I did test this rather thoroughly, so I think everything should be good. I hope you enjoy. Thanks.